President Tinubu signs new minimum wage bill into law.
No Nigerian worker will offer services and be paid anything less than 70,000 from today.
Shelve nationwide protest. More Nigerians and groups appeal.
The president has listened to the voices of all those who are planning this protest.
Federal Executive Council directs NNPC to sell crude oil to local refineries in local currency.
We are starting that with Dangote Refinery.
Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA this Monday. I'm Najaa Atutejani. Presenting business news tonight is Musa Abubakar. Musa, what's happening in the world of business?
Well, the equities market closed trading session in negative territory as Ethiopia floats its currency.
Well, we expect to get the details in the course of the bulletin. Also tonight, with highlights from the Paris Olympics, is Ayodeji Makinde. What's on the table tonight, Ayo?
Well, Naja, as it is right now, while many Nigerians are waiting for the Super Falcons to fly, the Tigers in basketball are fierce.
I'm excited to get the details later. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. You can also watch the replay on our YouTube channel and follow us across all social media platforms for the latest stories. And now the news in detail. Right from inception, the administration of President Bola Tinubu embarked on various programs and policies to further boost the economy of the country. Some of these measures have brought about a situation Nigerians find hard to cope with. However, the government is responding to the plight of Nigerians with various interventions, which State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab tells us about.
Our economy is going through a tough patch, and you are being hurt by it, I know.
A clear understanding of the effects of a fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians. The citizens continue to feel the impact as cost of living rises steeply, particularly the cost of food items and transportation. The federal government has continually acknowledged the hard times, which it describes as a momentary sacrifice for the better days ahead. But then, responsive to the socio-economic situation, the government instituted various measures to reduce the burden on the citizenry. It began with the release of assorted grains from the National Strategic Reserve distributed to Nigerians. Apart from the 35,000 naira wage award paid to federal workers for 6 months, the government recently completed a deal with the labor unions which saw the minimum wage increased from 30,000 to 70,000 naira. In addition, the salaries and wages review interval was reduced from 5 years to 3 years. Also, over 160,000 passengers across the country benefited from the end-of-the-year transportation subsidy program. The government provided free train service and a 50% subsidy on transport fares to passengers traveling on 30 routes serviced by bus operators. While the government is finalizing arrangements for the release of CNG-powered vehicles, it recently directed relevant agencies to facilitate improved access to conversion kits and service centers across the country.
Will continue to do what
the latest of the intervention in the works from the center is the distribution of 740 trucks of bags of rice across the country. The 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory are now in receipt of 20 trucks each. Standing on its principle of inclusiveness, the federal government says it is putting measures in place to ensure that this batch of intervention gets to the targeted, most affected Nigerians. From the State House, Musbau, then Wahab, NTA News.
And speaking of impact, several groups and individuals have announced withdrawal from the planned nationwide protests against economic hardship scheduled for the 1st of August 2024. Timothy Yusuf has the rundown of various groups and individuals who believe that the temporary hardship, which is in the best collective interest of the nation, will soon ease off.
Government at all levels have intensified engagements with the people to ensure better communication on the challenges confronting the nation and efforts to ameliorate the suffering of the people.
The renewed Hope Agricultural Empowerment Project is not just about providing temporary relief. It is about building sustainable solutions that will empower and rebuild lives.
I assure you that Mr. President is doing everything to reset the economy, and there are a lot of positive indices already in place. He has, put in place a lot of palliatives.
These engagements seem to have yielded positive outcomes as more groups resolved to opt out of the planned nationwide protests against hardship in the country, expected to begin on August 1, 2024.
Let us not participate in any kind of protest.
For the sake of women, their mothers, their sisters, and their daughters, I beg you, please, calm down.
We will not sit here to watch some off movement that believe they are working in the interest of Nigeria to come and burn down our infrastructure and slow our movement.
At the sub-national level, the fear is that although protests are legitimate actions by the people, recent incidences have proven that they can be hijacked and spiral out of control into anarchy. Many say the youth must desist from being used as agents of destabilization.
Because we have no other country we can call our own outside Nigeria.
People that are organizing this protest are the people that doesn't have interests of Nigeria at heart.
The developmental strides being achieved in various sectors in the last 1 year of the current administration, they say, must be allowed to grow as the groups and individuals distance themselves from the proposed protest. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, groups and individuals across the country have continued to appeal to Nigerians to shun the planned nationwide protest scheduled for August 1st, with many voices calling for dialogue. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim put together some stories concerning the protest.
From Lagos, Joy Ken Abakoya report that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has charged those gearing up for protest to tread with caution, avoid utterances and actions capable of undermining the peace and stability of the nation. The governor gave the charge while receiving on courtesy visit members of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Assets and Special Duties, led by its chairman Ademorin Kuye.
We're on a trajectory where, this current administration, about just less than 15 months old, have, we believe, have what it takes, to turn around, the fortunes of this country economically, positively. So we want to continue to, use any means of engagement, to explain to our citizens, to explain to our people.
Also, the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, is appealing to Nigerian youths with grievances to embrace dialogue rather than protest, as reported by Francis Form.
Our collective goal should be to build a safe, prosperous Nigeria, where the rights of every citizen are respected and protected.
In the same vein, the Nigerian Legion says its members are not part of the proposed nationwide protest, noting that the Legion comprises highly disciplined military veterans who are apolitical.
Our position is very clear. We are coming from a very disciplined background and we don't partake in demonstration or strike. That will not also take us away from being part of the society we are. But our discipline requires that we will remain calm and unpartisan.
In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Still on the planned protest, the Federal Executive Council says government has met most of the demands some Nigerians are making concerning the planned nationwide protest and is therefore appealing to them to shelve the proposed protest. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made the appeal after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the minister highlighted some of the government interventions to include supply of food items and launch of the student loan scheme, among other measures to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians.
Government, the president has listened to the voices of all those who are planning this protest. And the message is that there is no need for it. Indeed, the president is already protesting on their behalf by doing those things that they want government to do. For example, the effort that government is making in ensuring that food is being made available. In the last council meeting here at the briefing, we announced that a number of trucks, 20 precisely, have been given to the state governors for onward distribution to those who are actually in need of them. While you are thinking of protesting, government is appealing to you, first, to shelve it, because there's a great likelihood that this protest may be hijacked and may turn violent by unscrupulous elements, and Nigeria will not be good for it. Of course, we know that people are saying that there is no intention for violence in this, but our history has shown that there is the possibility that this protest can be hijacked and could turn violent.
This government is touching every nerve, is touching all the points, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. So we believe that this is not bad governance. So the issue of protest against bad governance is actually, to me, it's not properly directed, because this is not bad governance. If issue of subsidy removal, if issue of student loan, if issue of student loan is something that has to do with bad governance, then I don't know what good governance is.
Some Nigerian workers have reacted to the new national minimum wage signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. Joseph Olsen reports.
President Bola Tinubu meeting with stakeholders culminating to a new national minimum wage of 70,000 naira to be reviewed after 3 years. Not enough to take care of their basic needs, but many workers feel it is a step forward as they look up to other social safety nets to cope with current economic realities.
For now, we accept it, and in good faith, and pray that good things will come, as the president has promised Nigerians that definitely a lot of things will follow.
The value of the naira is too poor. The government should look at those loopholes and correct them.
The local government, with this minimum wage, they too should be able to pay all their workers, pay traditional rulers, and of course, that will enable Nigerians to live better life. It's good, very good thing.
There should be some policy support also to private sector, such that they can feel confident to employ more people.
Now that an above 100% wage increase is signed into law, some say it is oblivious on the workers to increase productivity for sustainability of payment. Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has signed the new national minimum wage bill into law. Briefing State House correspondents after the signing, Senate President Godswill Akpabio commended the president and Nigerian workers, saying the national minimum wage amendment is for the whole nation. The federal government, local governments, the private sector and individual employers.
So I think this is a great day for the workers in the country. We are not only doubling the minimum wage, we have added something on top. Initially it was 30,000, now it is 70,000. Like I said, this is minimum, this is not maximum. Any employer that has a capacity can pay as much as you want, but no Nigerian worker will offer services and be paid anything less than 70,000 from today. That is the implication of this act. It applies all over the nation, and we're excited that this is something at a time like this. Through President Bola Tinubu, the man who cares for the Nigerian workers. And you've seen what we are doing in the National Assembly. When he came, the entirety of the National Assembly moved and passed the bill in one day out of excitement. We felt that this was not something we could delay. So I think the workers are happy. So I want to use this opportunity to call on those who are attempting to foment trouble. That you have a right to protest. It's your fundamental right. This is there in the Constitution, but you don't have a right to destabilize the country. The right to protest should not be turned into a right to unleash violence.
So I think this movement from 30 to 70, reducing the negotiation here, is clear demonstration of a commitment to redirect the focus and position Nigeria for growth.
Well, it's the end of the road for Nigeria's sixth national minimum wage of 30,000 naira. A new one is on board. 70,000 naira is the new minimum wage. The road to this figure has been quite a bumpy one, and Ignatius Nkwo takes us through the path.
On June 3, 2024, organized labor declared a nationwide industrial action over the failure of the committee to agree on a new minimum wage and the hike in electricity tariff. The federal government, through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, appealed to Labour to call off the strike and go back to the negotiation table. The next day, the strike was suspended. On the 4th of June 2024, first half break ended and the tripartite committee resumed negotiations with all players back to the negotiation table. This time, the figure was raised from 60,000 to 62,000 naira. The organized labour was still not satisfied with the amounts and lowered its bar from 494,000 to 250,000 naira. Though subtle this time, but resolved to meet with the president before taking its final decision. On the 7th of June 2024, the Nigerian Governors Forum had announced that states cannot sustain 60,000 naira as minimum wage. On the 11th of July 2024, the president started the final lap of the negotiations with organized labour, which culminated in the second meeting of July 18, 2024, where 70,000 naira was announced as Nigeria's new minimum wage. On Tuesday, 23rd of July 2024, the national minimum wage of 70,000 naira received legislative approval. This is expected to be reviewed in the next 3 years. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Federal Executive Council has directed NNPC Limited to trade crude oil within local refineries using local currency. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the council has also approved the implementation of the new national minimum wage and 7,887 dialysis consumables in 7 federal hospitals for renal diseases.
The 9th edition of the Federal Executive Council meeting in 2024, presided over by President Bola Tinubu, briefing State House correspondents, special advisor to the President on revenue generation, on issues of local refineries, and use of local currency on crude oil trade, says the decision is to remove hurdles in the processing and adding value to Nigerian market.
Effective immediately that NNPC get engaged with local refineries, and we are starting that with Dangote refinery, that the sales of crude oil to Dangote refinery be denominated in Naira, and also the sales of refined products from Dangote refinery to marketer and distributors also should be conducted in Naira. The pressure on foreign exchange rate today will be reduced. Today, you may be aware that we spend roughly 30 to 40% of our foreign exchange today on importation of PMS that we consume. And in monetary term, monthly, we spend roughly $660 million in these exercise.
Today is come, all the processes have been concluded, and it has become a law that has to be obeyed in Nigeria. And what it simply means is that it's law and it's law. So this is the national minimum wage that the president have signed. We are happy that National Assembly fast-tracked it. This is, I think, one of the fastest bill that has been worked on.
On the healthcare sector, the council approved supply of dialysis consumables across 7 federal hospitals.
This is an effort to make affordable the cost of treatment for those who suffer from end-stage renal disease through dialysis. It's a start, but dealing with kidney disease requires not only dialysis, but also prevention. That's part of the efforts of the Federal Ministry of Health to ensure that we prevent cases of hypertension, diabetes that progress to kidney disease, that the cost of access to dialysis is a major impediment. And this effort by Mr. President is to bring relief within the context of several other policy measures to ensure that Nigerians have access to critical healthcare services.
Fight against crime, corruption, and transborder inhibition. The Federal Executive Council approved the ratification of agreement between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Spain.
We have an agreement which was signed way back in June 2022. So after the agreement, what the law requires is that you should come back home and have it ratified. And it was presented to Council today, of course, under the headship and leadership of our great leader, the President, sitting in chair. It was passed.
10th of July this year, the Council stepped down some memos on road projects across the country, and the Council reviewed and approved some of the roads.
And you compare the initial contract sum and what is available. That's what Mr. President and FEC directed that we should review. And today, while reviewing it, ingeniously, Mr. President or FEC directed that these projects are within our economic corridor. And so it is better to dialogue with some of the major contractors and ask them to come up with all their projects within this economic corridor, and so that they can go ahead to construct it as awarded, and then we agree on funding mechanism.
The minister also announced the continuation of work on the abandoned Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Still to come, pressing national issues. National Assembly to reconvene Wednesday, 31st July for emergency session. Details and more shortly. Stay. We're talking ICT matters now. To meet the digitization deadline of 2025 as stipulated in the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan, the State House management is developing processes and changing workflows to improve the system. This is coming at the opening of a digitization training for political aides and staff of the State House aimed at developing innovative solutions to boost the operational efficiency and capacity of the workforce. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, says it is part of the federal government's drive to go digital in support of socio-economic reforms and ensure security in the civil service.
All these people to deliver on their promises. And how do you do that? Take out most of the drudgery from the work. And that can only be done, I think, in a digital environment.
So I pray to you to please pay attention. Put in your best. What you don't understand, ask. If you are confused, feel free to ask. If you have shortcoming, come back for extra lesson.
Leveraging digital technologies and tools to enhance governance processes and models is a primary objective of the Renewed Hope administration, aimed at facilitating digital opportunities across all sectors for national development. The Senate and House of Representatives are to reconvene on Wednesday, 31st July 2024 for an emergency plenary session. Statements from the Clerk of the Senate, Chinedu Akabweze, and House spokesman Akin Rotimi, respectively, indicate that the directive to reconvene is at the instance of the presiding officers of the two chambers, urging all legislators in the Senate and the House of Representatives to be in attendance. As Nigeria struggles to cope with the fallout of conflict, displacement and other humanitarian challenges, a unified response has never been more critical. This is why the federal government is taking steps towards a more coordinated approach by convening an interactive session with the international NGO community to tackle the country's development and humanitarian concerns, Nneka Oku reports.
The meeting, which brought together various humanitarian stakeholders, focused on consolidating collaboration between the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and international NGOs to ensure their activities align with national priorities. This, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, represented by his Special Assistant Bolaji Onalaja, believes will pave way for stronger partnerships and effective interventions.
The current administration's goal is to create an environment that fosters sustainable development and ensures the well-being of all citizens. Also, to strive for even greater levels of collaboration and innovation that will amplify the impact of your efforts.
This event is to dig deep into what we did not do well in the past. We want strong collaboration on what is important to us as a nation.
The International NGOs Forum echoed similar sentiment, emphasizing the role of collaboration and effective coordination in addressing Nigeria's development and humanitarian concerns.
NGOs play a key role in humanitarian development and peace-building activities through the provision of basic services and livelihood support.
I think we're particularly concerned about making sure that our registration processes, our MOUs, is as smooth as it can possibly be.
With more collaboration with government, there will be more foreign direct investment.
Stakeholders pledged to maintain momentum, translating commitments into concrete actions. In Abuja, Nneka Oku, NTA News.
Still on humanitarian issues, Borno State government has distributed 20 trucks of rice procured by the federal government as part of efforts to ameliorate the hardship caused by price hike of food items and other basic amenities. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum personally supervised the distribution of the commodities to 35,000 deserving beneficiaries in Monguno town, supported by the senator representing Northern Borno, Muhammad Tahir Monguno, and other government officials. Mohammed Goni reports.
Monguno local government in northern Borno hosts internally displaced persons from about 4 local government areas affected by the insurgency, necessitating continued distribution of palliative there. This informed the decision to distribute the 20-truck prize sent to Borno by the federal authorities in the community to reach out to the vulnerable and less privileged, with each of the 35,000 male beneficiaries receiving 25 kg bag of rice. Additionally, each of them got 10 kg bag of cowpea procured by the state authorities as farm inputs to enable them participate in this year's farming season. Similarly, each of the 45,000 female residents got clothing materials procured by the state government and 10,000 naira as part of its financial inclusion policy. Beneficiaries of the food and non-food as well as cash support appreciated the federal government and the state authorities.
Federal government has also provided 90 trucks of fertilizer for onward distribution to farmers of Borno State free of charge, as well as 20 trucks of rice from the federal government of Nigeria. And you have to bear witness that all these are being distributed to the deserving communities in Borno State.
The support of fertilizer will go a long way in assisting them in the agricultural activity. The rice will go a long way in assisting them. It will bring succor to their life.
Governor Zulum also inspected ongoing construction of dental and eye hospitals as well as School of Nursing as part of efforts to provide healthcare needs of the people and to bridge the manpower gap in the health sector. The governor pledged to recruit more personnel to ensure effective service of the institutions. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Good news for candidates sitting for business and technical examinations in Nigeria, as they can now access their certificates from anywhere in the world, courtesy of a new digital certificate platform launched by the National Board for Business and Technical Examinations Board. Jude Abugu reports that employers and tertiary institutions can also use the platform for verification of NAPTEB certificates.
The digital certificate platform with uniform resource locator www.digitalcert.naptep.gov.ng is designed to ease the rigors involved in applying, processing, and obtaining NAPTEB examination certificates. The NAPTEB Registrar and Chief Executive, Professor Ifeoma Isugu Abanihe, expresses hope that the platform will help the board clear backlogs of outstanding certificates.
The NAPTEB digital certificate platform allows candidates to make requests, make payment, and therefore generate and download their certificate.
Education stakeholders who joined the official launch of the platform online and in person commended the innovation, which they say will ensure global access to NAPTEB certificates.
This is coming at a time when the federal government, through the president, is paying so much attention on the progress and development of the technical sector, and importantly, paying attention to the digitalization of all our processes.
It's going to ease the pains of candidates, and this will indeed give them a leeway on how to continue their journeys.
The registrar, while assuring stakeholders that with the digital certificate platform, all backlogs of certificates will be cleared by the end of the year, also explained that the e-certificates will not stop the issuance of hard copy certificates by the board. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Registrar of JAM, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, has expressed concern over the high number of students offered illegal admission into tertiary institutions, with a call on the management of such institutions to follow the proper admission process. Kehinde Omolosho reports.
She's only telling you that why she wanted to change.
The JAMB registrar is on a visit to the zonal headquarters in Ibadan to assess the situation due to reports about large number of students who frequently visit the Ibadan office. His interaction with students revealed that some had unique issues, but majority were seeking regularization for illegal admissions into their respective schools. He expressed concerns over this issue, urging tertiary institutions to follow admission guidelines to prevent jeopardizing the future of young Nigerians.
Daily part-time is another illegality. That people, you have 200, for instance, as your quota. You admit the 200 candidates. You now admit another 400. And these 400, because they were part-time candidates, that at that time we were not reckoning with them. They were supposed to be part-time, but you put them on full-time. and they graduate, they are in the same class with the full-time, and they now graduate, they want to go on NYC, forgetting that they are part-time.
The students are, however, hopeful of resolution to their issues. The advice of the JAMB registrar is for parents not to cut corners while seeking admission for their children, while tertiary institutions should follow the laid-down rules and regulations for seeking admission by the board. In Ibadan, Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Let's now join our Lagos Network Center with Michael Olaleye. Michael?
Najatu. Zenith Bank PLC, a leading financial institution, is upholding its stance as a pace-setter in the banking industry in Nigeria. The latest is the signing of a 290 billion naira rights issue and public offer in Lagos aims at raising capital to fast-track meeting up with the Central Bank of Nigeria's recapitalization requirements. Dana Jale reports.
That signifies the official signing ceremony of Zenith Bank PLC's 290 billion naira rights issue and public offer.
We are confident
Group Managing Director, CEO, Zenith Bank PLC, Adora Umeji, noted that the commencement of rights issue and public offer will mark a new phase in the already outstanding performance trajectory of Zenith Bank.
Zenith Bank have decided to do a combined offer of rights issue and public offer to enable existing shareholders partake in the rights and then to enable the general public participate. And we are going into the market for rights issue at 36 naira per share and for public offer at 36 naira 50 kobo per share.
Speaking on the bank's success story, the CEO added that for 15 years now, Zenith Bank PLC has consistently retained its position as Nigeria's #1 bank by Tier 1 capital, standing at 1.9 trillion naira as of December 2023, which is equivalent to $2.1, and the only bank in Nigeria to pay a dividend of 4 naira per share.
We are looking at becoming global, how we can expand our footprints and franchise to the world. And then secondly, we're looking at our state-of-the-art technology, how we can enhance it more for financial inclusion.
The signing of the combined offer capital raise ceremony had in attendance experts from other financial institutions, which described the move as a step in the right direction.
And we see this as, confirming the role, the position of Zenith as, a pace setter and a role model. And without a doubt, we believe that this will spur further positive growth in the capital market and in the banking industry.
Acceptance and application for Zenith Bank rights issue and public offer will be open to the general public from the 1st of August to September 9, 2024. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
It is the desire of government and stakeholders in the education sector to have an all-inclusive and qualitative education to secure the future of Nigeria. It is this dream that the great aspiration schools are riding on to give children the opportunity to acquire standard education in the country. Lynn Neneke reports that this was demonstrated at the grand opening of the secondary school structure located at Agege area of Lagos.
Great Aspiration Schools is a 21st century Muslim school that operates a Nigerian curriculum offering Muslim families an all-round education which encompasses Western and Islamic education as well as Arabic language. The school also provides computer training for all classes. The secondary school has grown from 6 students to more than thousands in its 5 years of existence. It calls for the establishment of a befitting learning environment, a 2-story edifice which accommodates classrooms, offices, library, laboratories, and mosque, with the aim of providing quality education to children in Agege community. The new secondary school structure, stakeholders say, will improve the quality of education.
The school is very affordable. Of course, we know the community we are in, and you have to look all those factors before you put you come up with your, school fees and everything.
It's a dream come true. This is an edifice that's second to none in and around Agege local government, and of course that's just brought development to the area.
And for the management of Great Aspirations schools, it is a way of bridging the gap in the education sector to give Nigerians the best.
And we believe that our students are going to be very courageous, bold enough to face the world anywhere they may meet themselves.
With what is on ground, Great Aspiration is deeply rooted, not only to become one of the best schools in Lagos, but one of the best schools in Nigeria.
The Great Aspiration Schools was founded in 2012 with a vision to spearhead the cause of knowledge and information revolution in Nigeria. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
That is it from Lagos. Business News is next with Musa Abubakar, but that will be shortly after this break. Do stay.
You're still watching NTA Network News. Let's now talk business. Ethiopia's central bank floated the birr currency on Monday, a move it hopes will secure International Monetary Fund (IMF) support and enable progress on a long-delayed debt restructuring. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia said the birr's value against the US dollar slumped by 30% to 75 birr per dollar. The currency had been trading at 57 birr to the dollar on Friday. The Horn of Africa nation, which has been struggling with soaring inflation and chronic foreign currency shortages, became the third economy on the continent in as many years to default on its government debt last December. The central bank said in a statement on the float that banks are henceforth allowed to buy and sell foreign currencies from to their clients and among themselves at freely negotiated rates, and that it will only make limited interventions in the FX market going forward. Oil prices fell by nearly 2% on Monday after Israeli officials said they wanted to avoid dragging the Middle East into an all-out war. Brent crude oil futures settled at $79.78 a barrel, falling 1.7%. U.S. crude futures ended 1.8% lower at $75.81 a barrel. And now to capital market as talk of protests dominate the public space equities market and the first weekday of trading on a bearish note. The all-share index declined by 0.07% to close at 78,132.15 points. The sum of 379 million shares in 10,096 deals valued at 8.7 billion naira were traded. Data shows 66% decline in volume, 60% decline in turnover, but 11% improvement in deals. Equity capitalization fell to 55.6 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 69.1 million traded shares, followed by FBN Holdings, Access Holdings, and Universal Insurance Company. Well, that's business news. The news continues after the break.
It's now time to throw the hoop to Ayodeji Makinde for all the latest action from the world of sports. Ayodeji. Thank you, Ayodeji. Sports Update concludes the network news on NTA. But before we go, here's a quick recap. Federal government takes proactive steps to boost the economy in response to plight of Nigerians. Federal Executive Council directs NNPC to sell crude oil to local refineries in local currency. National Assembly calls for emergency plenary to reconvene Wednesday, July 31st. And that's it on the network news on NTA. Thanks for being a part of the bulletin. I'm Naja Atutejani.